Hey everybody, it's Rob here. I'm getting a lot of questions how I get to some crazy life values on my Barbarians, and I'm gonna make this video for you to show you how it works, some of the math behind it, some of the mechanics behind it, and some nice little tricks that work not only on the Barbarian but on almost all the classes to stack a lot of life. And basically stacking life seems to be the new way of getting a toughness, because there are a lot of percent base healings such as Undying, which make life percent just insane, because they removed also all the damage reduction, or most damage reduction. You know, for example, on chest you could get like a 4 damage reduction rolls and you can't get that anymore. So stacking life is the way to get toughness, and you have a lot of percent based healing, even if it's just, you know, your normal health potion, like healing percent based off your life. So having a lot of life is actually insane. And there are certain things to get a lot of life. Obviously, the first one that comes to mind is Doombringer, or just in general having a bunch of life on your gear, because now every piece of gear can roll maximum life. And all this life is multiplied by every life percent Paragon node. Like every class has this in the starter board. You have a lot of life. And I definitely recommend you getting all these all this life. Hey mom, let's go. So all these nodes here are extremely powerful, and the more life percent you have, the more crazy the numbers get, and this is how you get this insane amounts of life. So first things first, I'm going to show you here some of my stats that I have. So Barbarian obviously is very special. You have a lot of life percent in your Paragons, but I think almost every class has tenacity, and almost every class has you know, the starter board with a lot of life. So first tip, take every life percent node that you see in your Paragon board. These tenacity nodes here are insane, and Barbarian has 2 of them, which make it completely crazy, all the life percent. Then second tip, try to get life on as many things as possible. Obviously Barbarian here has some inherent advantage, because he can obviously go with 4 weapons, but even without Uber Uniques, guys, your life can be easily above 50 or maybe even 100,000. And then third, there are a lot of effects that further increase your life. Barbarian has a big one here, which is called Imposing Presence, but there are also other classes. I think the Druid has one of the boons where you can get another 14% X life and things like that. So this also is very much worth recommended stacking. And on Barbarian in particular, there's a temper recipe that allows you to get this Imposing Presence, and this one gives you a whopping 6% life per point. And all this life in the end is basically a multiplier. I will go into the math here in a little bit, but Imposing Presence is extremely strong. You can also masterwork it. I'm not even close to the maximum here. Like you can have up to like 120% life here if you want, basically doubling your life, because it is X and it is a separate multiplier to your life. So if you want to get some life on your Barb, like even without a Shaco, you see here, if I take off Shaco, my life doesn't even change all that much, like 20,000, okay? But then again, I didn't even upgrade this helm here, and Imposing Presence is insane. This is my Thorns helm, or will be my Thorns helm. And you don't need any Uber Uniques, like even without the Uber Uniques, the life is not completely crazy, but it's still pretty good at 300,000. Like not a single Uber Unique, not a single unique even, just like basic gear, right? So this works for sure, but obviously having some of the Uber Uniques will get you more life. In the end, Shaco will be less life than a good helm with Imposing Presence, at least on Barb, but Shaco has a lot of other advantages, which is why I prefer using this one anyways. So let's go over some of the math here and see why it is so insane. So let's say your base life or your current life is 100,000. This can be any number. It can be 50,000, it can be 20,000. But I just want to showcase to you here how it gets so crazy. So whenever you have life, your current life, and you add another life percent node, such as the Imposing Presence, your current life gets multiplied by this node. So you guys can see here 100,000 times 90% already gives you 90,000 life extra. So you already have 190k life, and then if you add another one, such as a Doombringer here, you get almost another 100k life, because this is also a multiplier to your previous life. And then just going from there, I at the moment in almost all my Barbarian guides, I take the Tenacity life node at the end, and this one gives you 1 3 times 2% life, which is all separate multipliers. It's more than 6%. And I'll show you the math here in a second. And it also gives you another 8% multiplier. So this is like one of the best toughness boards you can get. It's better than most of the glyphs in the game, like way better than 10% toughness, because it just gives you a total of 14% life, and this is multiplier, so it gives you even more than 14% life. And I show this to you here real quick. So let's say your base life is 100k, you have this imposing presence, you have a Doombringer. Your tenacity now would give you go from 300,000 life, boom, you go to 322. So this 8% is already giving you 24,000 life. And then every other node here is going to be multiplied again. They're not added, they're just multiplied. So you guys can see here, the last node here, just going from 335 to 341,000 life, is just one of these small nodes here, gives you thousands and thousands of lives at the high end. This is why it's scaling so crazy, because it's multiplicative scaling. And you can easily see this. So my current life is 427. If I remove just one node, watch what happens, 427. And we can even calculate this. Let's say, I'm lagging. There we go. You should have about 418,000 lives. You see here, we remove this. Boom, 419,000 life if I did the exact calculation. So it's insane. Like this one little life node here gives us 8,000 life. And then if you take another one away, boom, another 8,000 life goes down the drain, right? So this just like keeps piling up and keeps getting completely insane with these life nodes. So a neat little trick on the Barb is, first of all, you follow this planner here that I'm going to have in the description. This is my Iron Skin starter board. And this, I believe, is basically one of the best builds for any beginner in the game. And this alone will give you about 80 to 100,000 life without any uber uniques, because you are basically taking all these life nodes here. So you're taking life at the starter board on your Barbarian, you're taking life here in the Warbringer board, a bunch of life. You are taking a lot more life up here in the Blood Rage board, more life. And then this board has the most life, Decimator. You have another life nodes here, and you have more life nodes here. And then we are taking Tenacity at the end for even more life. So this one is just Lifeception basically, and it's an extremely overall well-rounded setup. You also have Iron Skin, you are very, very tanky, and this is just going to help you a lot. You're going to get very, very tanky. So that is going to be in the description. And this is going to help you out a ton to just stack your life, basically. So the Paragon board is just really important to take as many life nodes as you can. And then there's also a neat little trick here. You guys notice here I have 2 elixirs running. And you know, these life elixirs are insane. You have the Elixir of Fortitude, and you also have the Elixir of Anti-Venom. I have a video that I'm also going to link in the description, how you can get these. But these are only basically obtainable if you do a quest. It's going to be on the top left here in Geakul. You have to do this like it's a side quest, and then you can craft these Elixir of Anti-Venom at the Alchemist. And this one gives you another 15% life. And this elixir you can have active with any other elixir, right? So you guys can see if I take off this Elixir of Fortitude, just say I want to play Elixir of Holy Bolts. I can do that. I'm going to lose about 70k life, but I still have this elixir actively running. So that's going to help you out a lot. Double elixir, really important for life. And if you're playing a Thorns Barb, your life is also your damage. So with 5, I don't have any Thorns gear right now, but with 500k life, I already have. If I'm just looking at my Thorns value, like it basically is already insane. I'm already having 88,000. There's like no razor plate, no nothing. And if we add another skill point here in the challenging shout node, you know what my Thorns is going to say? Boom, 260,000 Thorns. I don't have like any Thorns at the moment. I'm not fortified. I have like no Thorns multipliers. I just have 260k Thorns only because my life is high. And this is also another build you can do. I'm also going to link that in the description. Thorns directly scales your, or life directly scales your Thorns damage with 1 challenging shout and 2 outburst, where you also get 160 Thorns for every bonus life that you have. And this just gets pretty out of hand in the end. And Thorns Barb actually is doing in the 130s with crazy amounts of life. It's like there's a Chinese Barb or Korean Barb, Do Not Hit Me, that is also rocking like 400,000 life, and he's playing the Thorns Barb on the highest end no Holy Bolt Elixir. He just uses both of the life elixirs, and that's just another crazy scaler. And yeah, again, this toughness is basically EHP, because you have basically all the healing in the game, except the stat that you can get on your items, is percent based. So if I were to lose some life here, if these guys can't even touch me, but yeah, they're not really gonna like take much of my life here in World Tier 4, and they just die from the Thorns. But yeah, if they were to damage me, if I just do one attack here, I don't know if I'm gonna lose some life, probably not. But if I just do one attack here, I'm healing for 2% of my current life, right? At least when I'm at max HP. It's gonna be 4%, so I'm gonna be healing per hit. We take the 427,000 again. And we're gonna multiply this by 0.02, so 2% of this is 8,000. I'm basically getting 8,000 life per hit. Whenever I hit, just randomly, I'm getting 8,000. And when I'm at low, I'm getting 16,000. And the potion is gonna do the same. It's gonna heal you for 41% of your life. So every class has this. You're just gonna get insane amounts of life back. And this is also the reason the percent life is just so insane, and the percent healing is so insane. But what you don't want to have is a stat called life per second. This one can roll on many things here, but you see even a greater affix is only 200 life a second. I think this should be something like 0.1% life a second. It would be a way better stat. But do not use this effect at all, because you know, once you're having 500,000 life, 200 life a second is not really gonna cut it, right? Like, let's say we have 500,000 life when we're buffed. We divide this by 242 life per second. It takes us 2,000 seconds or half an hour to go from 1% life to max life. So definitely, like, don't recommend using life per second here, like these life values. Like, this stat is basically completely wasted. You don't want it. Always roll it away. Because you have this percent healing, and that's gonna be just the best there is. And I also recommend, obviously, you play rubies everywhere. The rubies are insane. Also the highest level of rubies, 9% life, and this is again this multiplier, right? Like, you get another 1.09% life at the end. So if you were not to have this, you would lose per ruby on the high end, divided by 1.09, like, you would go down 30,000 life on each ruby, right? Like, every ruby here is 30k life, basically. And that just makes the numbers go so crazy. Obviously, you don't need to have and don't need to stack all this life. Like, in my normal setup here, if I go, you know, with my normal DPS setup, let me double check. Here we go on our, like, Pengonglers, like this normal setup. Right now we are playing the bleed build. So here, just on our normal setup, we are still sitting, at least with the buffs here, at 200,000 life. Obviously, with Challenging Shout, it's going to be even more. And this is just because we have life stacked on every item, and we have it a greater affix on most stuff. Obviously, I don't have it on the gloves here. But I also have Imposing Presence. I rolled away from Challenging Shout to Imposing Presence because it is just so good, especially if you stack a lot. So try to get the Imposing Presence on your gear, guys, at least on most of the pieces. I still like to have like one piece with Challenging Shout, but it's up to you. Imposing Presence basically means you get 6% life, and you minimum, even if you don't crit it, you get 3 ranks. So that's 18% toughness per item. So even a bit more Challenging Shout uptime at 40% damage reduction is not gonna cut it. And this Imposing Presence roll is just better. I apologize for not recommending this earlier, but it is insane, especially if you're like stacking it up like I am here, and you're gonna still be rocking strong here, just normally like blasting down all the enemies with various bleed setups. So I hope this video is helpful to you, and yeah, stack those life nodes, take every chance you get in the Paragon nodes, or follow the Paragon that is going to be linked in the description. It's going to help you a lot, in particular on the starter board. Just get all that stuff. On other classes, you can even put glyphs into the range. I think this is possible on Druid, where you can put a glyph in range that multiplies, you know, your current boards. Oh, why did this? It multiplies like your nodes in range here for even higher effects. So you can multiply your life points on some classes. That's also insane. On Barb it's not possible, but I know it works on Druid. And Druid can get probably the second highest life in the game as well, because the boons and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, every class benefits a lot from that. Take the rubies, guys. Take every % life that you get. Roll Imposing Presence and get max life on most of the items that you can. And try to masterwork it. I hope you enjoyed the overview, guys. Good luck out there. Keep smashing, keep bashing. Barb Nation goes strong. And I'll see you soon. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.